5. Hey,
What's going on?
we back. Good to see you.
Back. Good to see me too. I'm glad I'm still able to look at myself.
Man.
As you last week you stated, had a little bout with the COVID-19, but we kicked its ass, and we back, and we in full 100% force. 2 negative tests, so we're ready to go. I'm ready to start working again. So
right on. I'm Cassandra Cusino, your girl, the Sportsnista, and my partner in time, Ramblin Velez, who has kicked COVID in the booty and is back here on levels. Happy to see y'all on a Thursday. We've got an exciting show. We ain't gonna play around. Let's get to it. Who's our first guest, Ralph?
Without further ado, the new WBA interim super bantamweight champion of the world, Raeese the Beast Aleem.
You ready to go? Sounds like that's an introduction where like some got to go down.
That's right. How's it going, man?
What's that? I didn't hear.
I said after that introduction, right? It sounds like something need to happen.
Oh yeah, hey, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
When Ralph brings you out, congratulations! You had a dominant performance against Macias. At what point during that fight did you think, "Dang, y'all gonna stop this"?
Well, I was just zeroed in, focused. After the second round, when the first knockdown, I knew I could hurt him. You know, I smelled blood, and I just wanted to get him out of there. I didn't think that he had the conditioning to go the 12 rounds, but I was fortunate enough to get the stoppage. It's a great fighter.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were calling that a step-up fight for you, but folks who had been watching you knew that you were capable of this. How good did it feel to actually put some of those doubts aside?
Oh, well, you know, it felt amazing. A lot of hard work and preparation goes into each and every fight. I did feel like this was another step-up fight. Every time I've stepped up, I've not only won, I've dominated. You know, so it just lets me know that I'm on another level. I'm reaching for another level. I feel like I'm on the pull-up bar. You know, I'm almost there to that next level. You know, but it just feels amazing to execute everything that I wanted to do and get the win.
I had the privilege of announcing you in Dodge City, Kansas a few years back. It was a fantastic card. I mean, that was like a pay-per-view worthy card with like Tyler Howard now fighting with Top Rank undefeated, Brian Mendoza on that card, Alexis Assueta. You guys are all doing really well. But I want to go back a little bit to last Saturday. You're getting ready to fight. King Promotion is now on the map with a world champion. I got to do work with the promoter on a Showbox card. Really nice guy. I like him a lot. Real cool dude. But you're preparing, man. This is your first opportunity to get in, get that strap, and there's no fans, brother. Like, it had to be kind of bittersweet for you because I know that we've all been through this. You're in the bubble. You've already done it a couple of times. It's kind of, you kind of used to the situation already. Is it bittersweet for you, or were you still mentally focused? Like, I don't care who in the hell's in the crowd. I'm going in to dominate and get this strap.
I mean, it's kind of like, as an athlete, entertainer, I would want fans to be there, but to be able to do the sport that I love, especially at a high level, whether there's with fans or without fans, it's worth it. I would love for fans to be there in person, but due to everything going on in the world, it's like, hey, just turn on your TV and make sure you tune in.
You are now based in Las Vegas. Las Vegas has become somewhat of a hotbed for boxers who are training. Is that something that's working for you? Or do you wish that maybe it was still a little bit quiet so that you can work a little under the radar still?
It's definitely something in my favor. Moving to Las Vegas was probably the best thing I could have ever done for my personal life and for my boxing life. I moved to Las Vegas to pursue my boxing career solely, and it's paid off. Just the work inside the gym, outside the gym.
You
You just
training
have
with
to elevate.
Bones?
Bones was my trainer. We decided to go our separate ways, but that's still my home gym. I still
Gotcha.
go to that gym and work out, and I'm around all the great fighters and whatnot. But yeah,
You got that gym. To be honest with you, is a hidden gem in Vegas. I want to talk about that real quick because the other day, Layla McCarter was in there, and you got Jose Canseco and all these guys in there watching you work out. And somebody had mentioned it, like man, like Raeese is in there working out, and Jose Canseco was watching, and Layla McCarter was watching, bragging about you. I've been talking about you for a long time, man. When I saw you,
Mm-hmm.
I just knew already. Not only are you well spoken, you're a good human being. You don't cause trouble. Like, we haven't heard anything negative on you, and that's one thing that I think separates you from a lot of people, is that you are focused, you are ready, you are on target. What do you see for your future? Yes, we have the interim strap. Yes, we have a lot of things going for you that are positive, but what do you see in your future as the pandemic still is raging? You still have to be careful. Las Vegas is still hotbed, but you still have to watch yourself out there as far as the numbers are concerned. Where do you see yourself in 24 months? What do you got going for yourself inside mentally?
uh, well, mentally, I feel like it all starts with yourself. It all starts with me. I truly believe in myself. I've foreseen this moment for a long time. So like when I am in the gym, it's tunnel vision. A, B, C, and D. I'm not talking to these fighters and that fighter. I'm like focused on what I'm doing. And getting the work in, sparring. As far as fights, I just want the world champions. I feel like I can be any current world champion, and I'm not just trying to talk shit or say this and that. It's like it's what I truly believe, you know. But yeah, being in Vegas, you got to kind of watch yourself. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of great fighters, a lot of young prospects, world champions in and out of the gym. Like you said, Jose Canseco, former world champions, just people watching you.
Yeah.
So when you're in the gym, you can kind of feel their eyes, and it kind of makes you just want to push harder and everything. But I'm just trying to take everything to the next level. I can't wait to get back into the ring. I want Akmadalia. I want Lewis Neary. I want Brandon Figueroa. I want Stephen Fulton. I want the big fights right now. I've never been a fighter to duck and dodge anybody. And just everything's coming together. So I just got to keep doing what I'm doing and tighten things up and continue to progress.
We saw Cool Boy Steph as well, and we know that you saw him too. Is there talk? Could that be the next fight for you? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it could be the next fight. If he wants it, I want it. So if he comes to the table, then we can 100% make that fight happen. He put on a great performance against Angelo Leo. He beat Leo at what Leo does best. On the inside.
It was
So
a grimy fight, right? I mean, they were just I
That was rough.
connected the whole time. Yeah.
Forehead to forehead, a lot of punches thrown, and at the end of 12 rounds, he wasn't even tired. Wasn't even breathing after throwing all those punches and whatnot. So seeing stuff like that, it's like, okay, all right, I like it. Good for him. He deserves the win. If we are matched up next, I would love that fight, and I would make sure physically and mentally that I'm prepared to do that.
Good. Well, we talked to Claressa Shields yesterday, and one of the things that she said is that fighters need to big themselves up. That you can't wait on your promoter, you can't wait on the networks. And so what she was saying is that you got to let people know what you're about every time you get a chance to. And you're not really like that big talking gregarious kind of guy you get in. I always say, like, there's like lunch pail type of fighters. I was raised by my granddaddy. He just went to work, grabbed his lunch bucket, and he just did work. He's a construction worker by trade. But I want you to big yourself up. We want you to get more active on social media. What's it like for you in this new social media age? It's different than when you were watching your heroes, I'm sure. How do you feel about the fan interaction, and what do you make of the fact that they can pretty much say anything to you at any time or about you?
Well, I try to let it go in one ear and out the other. You got social media gangsters, but you see them on the street, they can't even look you in the eye. As far as for me, I'm trying to get more active on social media. My problem is I'm not a social media fighter. It's like I'm really about that life. Like, I really make it happen. I don't got to talk about it because you got people barking saying they're this good and they're that good, but they when it counts, they get under those lights. They're a deer in the headlights. They get hit by the car, crash and burn. So
yeah.
But I am trying to be more active on social media. After my last fight in August, I decided to just kind of, fall back because I knew what came next was going to be huge. This fight with Vic Casillas. So I did exactly what I want to do. I got the win in spectacular fashion. And now it's time to get back on social media and, put out some workouts and show people what some of the things that I do inside the gym and some of the things I do outside the gym.
I have one last question for you, then I'll let Cece finish it up. For me, there are fighters that are fast-tracked, that are pushed too fast, to me, in my opinion. I think you did it the right way, and I'm going to ask you if you feel the same way, because, again, it's been a number of years since you started in the business. You didn't start 2 years ago, and you push yourself and were talking yourself up to a title. I think you did it the right way. I appreciate because you did it quietly. You honed your skills. They matched you up in what I believe was correct fights. You actually had a rematch that you actually disposed of your opponent rather fast, and I think that was a fight that I actually did. But I think that was an okay thing to do to keep you busy. Do you feel like fighters are being? Well, let me ask you this question. I'll ask it a different way. If a young fighter is going to start in the business and they're 18 years old, do you recommend taking the road that you took to get to the title, or do you recommend talking and pushing your way forward with the social media? Because I feel that now you have honed your skills enough to where you're not going nowhere, bro. You're staying, and you're going to probably capture a few more titles before it's all said and done. But I think that you're mature enough and you're ready enough and strong enough as a man now to fight and capture those titles. What do you think about that?
Well, I feel like everything that I've gone through, all the trials and all the tribulations, the work I put in, the fights, it prepared me for this moment and everything. And yeah, I would probably say my approach is a little bit better. When they're young, 18 and whatnot, hungry lions. Yeah, I'm sure they want to move fast. Everybody wants to just, go, but you can't be experienced. Having competitive fights is what they need. Sometimes you get these young guys, they're in the gym killing it. They're beating up top guys, and so they think that they're ready to step in the fire, but they might get caught with a punch and lose a fight, or they, you just can't beat experience. I would just say having competitive fights is good. Especially early in your career, you don't have to fight bums. You don't want a built-up record. You want to earn that record.
Right.
So when the time comes, you can weather the storm. You know, there's too many guys out here who are like buying fights in Mexico and, you know, fighting these guys. They get the 15 and 16-0, but when they fight a credible opponent, they drown. You know, they can't hang. So having competitive fights, I feel like is huge. But more importantly, being active. That's, you know, I can't stress that enough. Ever since I became an active fighter, shout out to Marshall Kaufman and King's Promotion for giving me that opportunity. I've been able to take my fight game to the next level. You know, you can't go 2 years without a fight consistently and expect to be able to fight for a world title. But yeah, just the young fighters, I would proceed with caution. You got time on your side. That's the biggest thing.
Well, I just want to say you're a breath of fresh air, brother. Again, I'm glad I got to work with you early on in your career. A lot of kids should be looking up to you, and I'm sure now after this world title fight and you becoming victorious, you're going to get a lot more young kids following you and looking up to you. So keep it up, and we're proud of you. Thanks.
You're 18-0. Before we let you go, we see our next guest is up, but I do want you to answer this next question. When are we going to see you again, and who's it going to be against?
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, you're 18-0. Before we let you go, when are we going to see you again, and who is it going to be against?
So I'm hoping to be back in action by June. You know, I don't want a super long layoff. I just kind of want to get back into the lab, get working. I would love a fight with Ahmadalia. I don't know if he has anything scheduled on the books, but he has 2 of the belts. So it's like, you know, let's make that fight happen. I'm just hoping June, and I'm hoping it's against any current world champion. Can be Stephen Fulton if he accepts the fight, Louis Neary, Brandon Figueroa. I feel like it's time. I'm ready for it. I got the pen. Send the contract.
Let's do this. Thank you. We've been talking with Raeese Aleem. You're going to see him again, hopefully not too far into the summer. Good luck to you the rest of the way, man. Hope to see you soon. Take care.
Take care, brother. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
So our next guest is actually in the background. We're going to circle back, Ralph, and debrief that, but I don't want to keep him waiting because the man's nickname is Boots, and I don't want him to get them boots walking nowhere just yet.
You bring him in. Bring him in.
Let's bring him out. Bring him out. Well, look at here. Look at here.
Hey, how you doing?
We are talking with Jaron Boots Ennis, and if you don't know, you need to know he's one of the hottest fighters on the planet right now. A lot of folks calling your name. We saw you last in December. What you been doing since?
I stayed in the gym. Just right after that fight, I just took like a couple of days off, and I got right back in the gym just to work on some things and just get better and smarter to better my career. And that's about it, though. Just been chilling, having fun, and just trying to better myself.
Now you're 26-0, correct?
Yes.
Is that the record? So people out of Philly been talking about you for a long time, and they always say that, you know, Philly fighters, it hit a little different when you have to come up through those Philly gyms. What does that mean? Like for people who don't understand that.
It just mean that we was raised up tough. Like we coming up outside of boxing and inside of boxing, you gotta fight and spar the best guys. Like ever since I was about like 12, 13 years old, I've been sparring professional boxers since I was about 12 or 13 years old, and that's what made me today. And as you guys know, I didn't have that many amateur fights, but I got a lot of experience from like sparring these top guys and at a young age, and that's what molded me into like the fighter I am now.
You know, Ralph, I'm on the West Coast, but I'm a New Yorker. And growing up, it was just saying that Philly is that city where like F around and find out, like that should be on like the sign when you get to the city limits. So I understand.
Yes,
absolutely.
We have a different type of toughness. Like we always find a way to win and dig deep.
Now you guys have a history. Obviously, Blue Horizon 2300 now is starting to take over, starting to do more fights there. What does it mean for you to be able to get out of the infrastructure of Philadelphia? What I mean by that is not only were you fighting in the ring, man, you also have to take care of yourself outside of the gym and around the city. And that's the main thing that we always deal with when we talk to Philly fighters, like, hey man, you think fighting in the ring was tough for us? Try walking down the street, you know, five blocks from our gym, and then you'll find a fight. So for me, there was a quote on your social media that I really, really loved. You said sometimes what didn't work out for you really worked out for you. Can you elaborate on that? Because I think some of these young kids right now don't understand that when something falls flat, and even in our career and what we do, when something doesn't pan out, I get really upset, man. I'm frustrated. But then you know what? I have to realize that sometimes it's better off. You're better off for you, right? So can you elaborate on that for us?
Definitely. Sometimes you just like things happen for a reason, and like I always say, and look at me now. Like I'm getting a bigger and better opportunity to showcase my skills, and that's it. That's why I treated that too. I'm like, look, things like it's in God's hands, and everything happened for a reason, and I'm just happy.
And it's funny that we on the outside looking in are not in the ring, and we can get inspired by that. I was inspired by that. I actually found it a while back, and I was like, man, this is a couple of days ago, and I was going to save it because I knew you would come on there because it helps everybody, even the kids with school and people that are trying to get a job and it don't work out for them, man. There's a metaphor for life, bro, in this sport, and that's why we love it so much. And TC, I just have to say that, man, because it stuck with me. It stuck with me deep.
It definitely just shows. I mean, another reason why I posted it too is just an example for the kids, and just like don't never give up. Just always keep doing what you're doing. Something will happen. Something bigger happen. Just you guys stay down, wait your time, and be patient, and that's exactly why I posted it too.
You know, a lot of times because you've had 26 fights, there's not a whole lot of time to reflect on it because you really got to get back in the lab and then get ready for the next fight. We're going to talk about who that next fight is against. But what I want you to do is take me to the moment when you're on that climb, when you realize, like, this is working out for me. I'm meant to be here. Was there a certain fight where you started to put that together for yourself?
You might as well say since back in amateurs when I won 4 national tournaments straight, and ever since then I'm like I'm destined to be great, and I know I'm going to be a multi-weight division champion. And now that I turned professional, I just keep building and taking my family legacy name to another level. So I feel like it's just going to keep going.
How old were you when you started?
I've been boxing all my life. I was in a gym. I was in like a little jumper. I couldn't even walk. I was in a jumper. So I've been in boxing. I've been boxing all my life.
Who brought you in the jumper?
My dad. My dad used to hang the jumper on like right by one of the bags, and I used to just be jumping up and down. I had gloves on and everything. I gotta find the pictures. I'm gonna post it when I find the pictures.
Cece, I know you follow the sport, but I love the amateur scene because it's really big here in Arizona. And I'm gonna tell you something. To get to a national championship in Golden Gloves, you don't just fight 3 times and then you're there. Like, this is a whole, it's a season pretty much. You can't slip up. You have to be ready. I went to a tournament that a couple of friends were in, and they had already fought, and I forgot that these guys had to stay on weight. So these guys are in a 3, 4, 5 day tournament. They're done fighting. Usually these guys, I'm hungry, let's go eat. No. You have to chill because you have to weigh in at that same weight for the whole 5 days. I mean, so to be able to do that back to back, man, some of this stuff is probably like, this ain't nothing for me. I've already been through 2 years of having to make sure that I was on weight 5 or 6 days in a row, man. So we got to give you props for that. One thing I do want to touch on, as dealing with situations, when you fought Abreu, that was, I believe that was your first time in a bubble situation. Even myself as being an announcer, being in that situation, man, I'm looking out the window. I'm seeing people hanging out downstairs out the hotel. I'm waving. I'm just trying to figure out how I can get outside, man. And luckily I have my PS4 and my Fire Stick. Otherwise, I would have went crazy. How were you able to adjust to that? Because we ask everyone, because for some, they already kind of put themselves in a bubble weeks prior to a fight. So some say it's easy, some say they hate it. How did you feel about that first time being in Connecticut in that bubble?
It actually was like it was easy for me. It was normal because like when I fight, I really don't do too much anyway. I like to stay in my hotel room and just chill and like chill with the fam or whoever I have down there. That's the only thing. that I couldn't have like my family around, and I couldn't like walk downstairs or go walk here or walk there because the security right there on the same floor, and you
Oh
gotta
yeah. They're like,
they
give me
got
that bracelet. Give me that
yeah
bracelet.
they have to walk you everywhere, so it's just more strict. But at the end of the day, it was like kind of like it fit me anyway because I didn't do too much anyway when I was getting ready for fights and stuff like that. I always used to stay in my room and just chill with my fam until fight time, and that's what kind of the same thing. But now it's just about me by myself, or me and my dad, or me and my dad, and my other trainer. So it was just kind of like normal to me.
You look great against Abreu, and I think because you constantly seem to be improving, just little things, fine-tuning little things here and there in every fight. Who's the fighter who surprised you most, where you felt like you had to push a little bit more?
In my career,
In the pros.
I'm not sure. I just at every
They're just
fight,
it's just another dude to you.
I'm not gonna say that because you gotta respect everybody that get in the ring, but I'm not sure. I just like I say, I always just go back after I fight, and that same night after I fight, or the next morning, I start studying myself, like what I need to do better, or I need to use my gym, or I just try to fix. I try to find things that I need to fix, or I can better myself at. And I'm my worst critic. Like I always think I don't do what I need to do, basically. Like, but at the end of the day, when I watch it, always look better than what I thought. So it's just crazy. Like,
Well, you're about to get back to work. In the past 24 hours, I've seen the name Lipinets actually coming across the wire. Is that fight confirmed?
yeah, it's final.
It's like, did you sign your government name somewhere?
It's final. It's final, and I can't wait. I'm ready. These are the type of fights I've been waiting for, and now
What's the
y'all gonna
date?
see. Huh?
What's the date?
That's April. Sometime in April.
So I thought I saw the 17th. Is that correct? I know
April,
the 10th is a Saturday.
April 10th. April 10th.
That is my birthday. So
Yeah, come home with a big knockout for your birthday.
Come with it. I'm gonna actually look after that went on and be like, you know what, that was for me. So y'all welcome.
Yeah, definitely.
Y'all are welcome.
In the Van Heerden fight, even though it was only less than a round, man, and I know it got to be disappointing for you to go through that. Did you have any different feelings walking down? Yes, there was no fans, but did you have any different feelings? Like, okay, it's for a title, like we doing this right now, like, and then for it to end like that, you think they now, even though it was only a round, you went through all that stuff in the beginning, the weigh-in process, the walking down the aisle, knowing you fighting for a title. You ready for that now? I mean, I know what kind of fighter you are. I heard from Emily kind of like about you for years already, man. But were you able to say, okay, I got all these bugs, these nervousness of walking down the aisle for a title out of the way? Does it prepare you now to move on and face whatever challenges you have? Or again, like CC said, is it just another day for you, just another opponent? We're just going in there for war.
That's exactly what she said. It just every time I fight, it's just another day for me. It's normal to me. Like I've been around this sport all my life, and as you guys know, that both my brothers were professional boxers. They fought on Showtime, ESPN, and always had the cameras around them and stuff like that. So when the cameras came around me, it was like normal for me, and I wasn't nervous. I know how to talk. I know how to say certain things, and I know what to do. So and everybody always asks me like, "How you never nervous?" or you just know what you're doing. I was like, I've been around it all my life. Both my brothers were professional boxers, and my dad was a professional boxer also. So I got to see all three of them, and it's just a blessing. And now it's time for me to take the name to a different level and go grab these world titles.
We see your name prominently displayed on the trunks. Talk to me about the drip. Do you collaborate with somebody specifically to actually get your ring rock trunks together? Because it's always fire.
Thank you. I appreciate it. My extreme stitch, Mr. Luis Gonzalez, he does my outfits. He been on my outfit since I turned.
That's my dude. He lives 2 miles from me. That's my guy. He makes all my stuff in Phoenix. Yeah, man.
Yeah. He does all my outfits, and he been doing a phenomenal job, and I appreciate him. And whatever I ask, he do it for me. So I appreciate it. And he take the time out, him and his wife, and I truly appreciate it. But it's how I come up with things. I just try to find different things, like different costumes and stuff, like Halloween stuff. I try to mix it together and have fun with it, and then I let Mr. Stitch do his own thing too with it. So it's a great collaboration.
Oh yeah, CC, he's the one that made the bulletproof vest for David Benavidez and his dad when they fought. Yeah, he's the one that came up with that. I mean, the dude is brilliant. He has all the stuff in his house. He and his wife get down. I mean, his mind is unbelievable, man. He's a good dude too. I'm glad you guys are working together.
Phenomenal, and he's fast, and he does exactly what you want. Whatever you say, he's going to do exactly what you asked for.
Yep, definitely.
Talk to me.
I'll go ahead and I'll give CC the last words here. But for me, man, I just want to tell you congratulations on all that you're doing. You have gone from again fighting since, like you said, you couldn't even stand, to all these tournaments. I've seen it with my own eyes what these kids go through. 95% of them don't make it out of those tournaments to go on to fight professionally. And when they do, they usually just last a couple of fights. You were able to get through the gauntlet, not one time, but 2-time national Golden Glove champs. And that's really unheard of, man, nowadays, because everybody's trying to jump and go pro and do all these other crazy things. I just want to tell you to keep on inspiring the kids, because it's important. It's important that these kids have role models, especially out of your neighborhood and your city. It's never easy there, man. And if one person can come out of that area and say, I want to be like Boots, then you've done your job, man. So keep on pushing from me to you. I try my best to do what I can for the kids around here. You're doing a good job. We're all proud of you. Keep on going, and we can't wait to see you fight again.
Thank you. I truly appreciate it for you guys having me too. I definitely appreciate it.
We're talking with Jaron Boots Ennis. Where did the nickname come from?
I'm gonna give y'all the short version. It's a long story, but like as you guys know, that I've been in boxing all my life, and my dad brought me in the gym when I was little, and I was in a jumper, and I was running around, and I've always been around the gym. So and I was running around and just having fun, and my dad used to say, "Come here, Boops." My original nickname was Boops, Boops, but everybody thought he was saying Boots like the shoes, so we just kept it Boots, and it stuck with me. So it was just. I like it.
That's cool. You a soldier. I understand. Like it kind of like you grew into it.
Yeah, it just stuck with me. I think I was about like 2 or 3 years old, and this is after when I got older and stuff. Like I'm saying, like 2 or 3 years old, and that's when it started happening. I was running around playing in the gym, and my dad would be like, "Oh, Boots, come here, Boots, come here." And everybody used to think like talking about Boots like a shoe, so we just kept it.
What you grew up in the gym and around the boxing business. What are you looking to do outside of boxing to grow? I think as a man, but also just to have opportunities for yourself outside of boxing.
At the end of the day, I just want to be bigger than boxing. Like I want to keep it inspiring the kids and doing the right thing. And making a blueprint for them, and so they can go down the right paths and not go a different way. And that's why I'm continuing to work hard and keep grinding and doing what I'm doing now. And hopefully, like you just said, a kid be like, I want to be like Jaron Ennis, and another kid is here. I want to be like Jaron Ennis. And next thing you know, we got a bunch of boxers because of me, and that I would love to see that. And so that's why I'm gonna continue to keep grinding and doing what I'm doing now, and definitely just do all the right things with my money and stuff like that. Just be smart outside the ring and make all the right decisions.
Do any of the social media trolls, and CC brought up a good point to Raeese, do any of the social media trolls, do they bother you? Do you play it off? I try not to look at stuff, just, if I'm doing something I know I'm fouled up, I try not to look at Twitter for at least a couple of days because I don't want to be that guy. But like, do you ever go on there and be like, man, like, and see something that you don't like? I mean, do you take it personally? Do you try to remember that this could be someone from some couch in Florida that don't even really know what you're about? Because even, I'm gonna be honest, when I see it, I'm like, damn, like that's cool. Even if it's from my colleagues, I'm like, man, I feel bad for them because they're getting hit up on Twitter. Does it bother you at all, or do you just shake it off like you shook everything else off?
Yeah, I really don't pay too much attention to it, even though I don't get too much of that anyway because I'm not in the mix or anything. I don't you know, I don't do anything negative or nothing like that. It's always one person here and there, but they don't bother me. They know I'm not gonna respond anyway. It's pointless. I'm not about to sit here and argue with you and you sit on the couch like you said. And I'm out here trying to change my life and change other people's lives too, and get better each and every time.
So that's good. That's good because that's actually the best way to go about it. I got to learn my lessons sometimes and just ignore it. Yeah. Cece does a good job of it. She's the one setting trends on IG and stuff, so I got to follow her lead, man.
Yeah, I never respond back. It's no point.
It is no point. We do have a little bit of breaking news. Doesn't impact you directly, but like to get your opinion on it. So Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo have agreed to fight in May, as long as the fight, comes out of it with Jaron on February 27th with no significant damage. What do you think about that? Is that the fight that everybody wants with Canelo?
I think that is the fight that everybody want to see. That one, and I think guys want to see him versus the Big Charlo, and I think Demetrius Andre. And
you see Caleb Plant and David Benavidez in that mix too.
And Caleb Plant, David Benavidez. Those should be his 5 fights right there. Billy Joe.
I just want to see Plant and David fight and stop talking and just fight already, man. Like they even got the dad mixed up and all this stuff. Now I just want to see them fight already.
Stop getting people's daddies involved, man. So before we let you go, let's go ahead and tease the fight one more time, and also tell people where they can find you.
I'm fighting April 10th on Showtime. Make sure you guys tune in. You guys can find me at Jaron Ennis on all social media, and that's about it. Continue to keep watching me on my journey, and yeah, these guys are gonna see why I'm why I am the best welterweight in the world.
My boy Joey's late. He just announced a fight, Joey. You have to hit me up on a DM and I'll fill you in. We got big things coming up for my man right here. It's gonna be good, CC.
Listen, that welterweight division is been on fire for a long time. I mean, on your side of the street, especially, there's a lot of options. You got your eye on somebody that's in the stable?
Everybody know I want them all. I just want to be great and be the best and be an undisputed world champion. So after I do my thing, April 10th, and I put on this beautiful show and come home with this knockout, I want all the world titles. So whatever world title opportunity I can get.
Appreciate your time. Best of luck to you. Hope to see you back. And go ahead and get my win on my birthday.
Definitely.
Keep inspiring the kids. Keep inspiring the kids, Daddy. We love it. Thank you very much.
Right. Take care.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Sir.
Bye now.
Anytime. Come back anytime.
I will.
All right, hey man. We got 2 well-spoken, beautiful guests today. I'm excited for the future. Like I hadn't talked to Aleem in a minute, and that's the first time I've actually had a conversation with Boots. I like him, man. He's cool.
Listen, there is, of course you get the boxers who got a lot to say. It's the fight business. You're supposed to be able to talk shit every now and then. I get it. But it is also important to understand that this is a business, and to be able to put all that stuff together, work hard, be successful at your job, but also understand that it's a business. And with Boots being very conscious of the fact that he is being looked at by young people, and having something to say when you open your mouth, and I listen, I give his people props for that too. He was raised like that.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen like that.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is that sometimes we're blessed with good parental figures. It doesn't have to be the mother or father. It could be grandparents, uncle, coaches, whatever the case may be. I know that when I coach my sports outside of boxing, I try to make sure that there's life lessons involved and they learn life lessons because, he may not have want to go to 8 weeks of camp or 12 weeks of camp, or maybe he didn't want to fight 6 straight days and having to keep on weight just to get to a national qualifier out of his state. It's crazy. Those tournaments are crazy. These kids are fighting like so many times,
dude.
Few months span, and to be able to be a national Golden Glove champions out of that region. You got Philly, you got New York, you got Jersey, you got crazy heads down there. I mean, there's the national Golden Gloves in New York were selling out Madison Square Garden. You want to talk about pressure? Like, it's bonkers. It's bonkers, and to be able to credit his father multiple times and to actually listen to the man and grow up. See, the thing I like about it the most is that, you know, as a toddler, he's in there seeing what they're doing. He's seeing and he credits that, like, hey, cameras, I'm already used to them. They don't mean shit to me. I've been around since I was a kid. I know how to act. You know, he sees his father, you know, act in a certain way, or his relatives act in a certain way when they're around. Well, you know, you can't be acting up. And it's good that he's looking at the children, especially in Philadelphia. I've been there a couple of times. It's pretty rough, man. You know, and our friend Michelle Rosado, she's from that area, and she said it many a times. This is not a place you want to mess around in, not even for 2 seconds, because you will get dealt with really fast. And
yeah, I mean, Joey's saying, you know, he likes this kid and don't see his name out there like it should be. I think we're about to see, because you can't just keep recycling those 5 guys.
yeah,
And the thing with Boots is that he's had 26 fights, and how that works in his favor is that people are getting to know him as he is seasoned. You know, he got to make some mistakes off camera, you know, basically.
Yeah.
So before everybody started paying attention. And so now I think that he's ready, you know, stick a microphone in his face, put him in that squared circle, a lot of different things. And so we are going to be able to see him at his best and not so much on his learning curve. And I really, really think that's great for him.
Yeah, and that's why I say about both of them is that, you know, I know like the Berlangas of the world who just come in, they're phenoms, and they just start knocking everybody out, and all of a sudden talking about him fighting David in titles. I get that. That's cool, right? But at the end of the day, man, why wouldn't you want to be like, I don't know, like I see maturity in fighting in Kansas in the middle
develop.
of, you know, yeah, there's value to that. There's appreciation for where you're going. Get pushed up and you don't get to fight at the Arizona State Fairgrounds, or you don't, the Kansas Pig Festival, whatever we were doing out there in Kansas. Like you don't get to experience, and you don't get to appreciate where you've been to see where you're going and understand that, man, I'm blessed to be where I'm at. And both of these guys spoke highly of that, and I'm really impressed.
Yes.
These guys' future. They're really well spoken. Good show today, Cece.
Listen, it's something, you know, we've kind of turned a corner in boxing where you could just be like the dummy on social media. You know, there's kids out here who are coming from the strap who got it put together. They are definitely on the top of my list in terms of ones to watch. Want to rewind just a little bit, but Jeremy Long, the other part of Levels, is he was unavailable, but he did drop some knowledge on us in the chat. He said that Kamaru Usman said he fought Masvidal with a broken nose that caused by Justin Gaethje while they were training. I mean, listen, Kamaru Usman has disposed of both Masvidal and Kobe Covington. They all came out of that same gym. Usman removed himself out of that American Top Team gym. There's a lot of welterweights in there, and after a while, people start licking their chops, and that's what I was talking with Boots about. Is like, well, once in a while, you know, your stablemates realize like y'all gonna get matched up at a certain point, and everybody fight her, but you know, fight with a broken nose. I'm gonna have to look back because I talked with him up close. I'm gonna go ahead and like zoom in and see.
Speaking of being broke, I don't know if you guys talk about that yesterday with Jeremy, because I watched part of the show. I was traveling Saturday. We got to do a quick rewind on both. Back and forth. A little problem with the UFC broadcast. A little upset. We kept having some flipper flapper.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was very upset about that. But what that allowed me to do was run back and watch my boy Angelo Leo and cool boy Steph.
Yeah.
4th highest punch output in that weight division in the history of boxing.
Dang.
It was outrageous. Props to both. Angelo fought a good fight. Cool boy Steph changed the game on me. He man,
too strong. He was too strong.
Completely was shocked. He decided to go into hell and fight with the devil face to face, mano a mano. I did not expect that. I expected an outside game. in with his speed out, counter punch, and it was completely different from the outset. I mean, he was even giving Angelo,
they were fighting like forehead to
oh
forehead
yeah,
in a phone
and,
booth fight.
yes, and Angelo, for being as good as he was just a little bit slower than Cool Boy Steph on that night, and it may be that he's just a slower fighter. Cool Boy Steph definitely fast, definitely strong on Saturday, and he deserved the win. Now the scores were a little outrageous for me.
They were wide, but honestly, I only gave Angelo one more round, so I thought it was appropriate.
Yeah, it sounds bad when the punch output and what these guys went through. Props to both of those guys. And proper 12. What do you say about that? See, that's your area. McGregor being knocked out Saturday. Very surprising, considering that he was a heavy favorite betting wise. And what do you make of that? What's next for that man? I mean, you guys probably talked about it yesterday, but
well, actually, it's funny. We didn't get into it too much. We had Clarissa, so we gave.
Oh yeah, no, you can't. Yeah,
we gave her all the time.
You got to give her the quote all the time.
But Conor he's a welterweight who is not quite big enough to compete at welterweight with the top 5 guys. Kamaru Usman, who's a champion in that division, would dispose of him quick, fast, and in a hurry. So he moonlights at 155. He's got 2 losses back to back at 155. So he's out of the top 10 when the rankings came out yesterday. And I think that's right. He cannot, he wants the rematch with Dustin. Dustin's about to have a title shot. You can't rematch if Dustin wins, even if he doesn't. You don't get that rematch. Top 10 anyway, You're not in the top 10. But here's the problem UFC has. Conor McGregor is their top moneymaker. Period. And I don't even think it's close. I mean, Jones is probably maybe the next one, but he doesn't pull in international pay-per-view money like Conor McGregor does. So they need that guy. And Conor says he wants to fight at least 3 more times this year.
There was so many pay-per-views that I think he ended up making like $20 million more on the pay-per-view than he did the fight.
Yeah, he got $5
million.
He got $5 million guaranteed for that fight, which is interesting because he got $2 million to fight Donald Cerrone, but he got $5 million guaranteed in a pandemic. There's no live gate. They got, I think it was like 2,000 people in that arena in Yas Island, and those seats were anywhere from like $798, I think they said, up to 2,000. One like a whole lot. So UFC's making a lot of money. They didn't eat all that 20 mil. Like they got it from somewhere.
Oh yeah, they got it from somewhere, and it's probably the same place that Andy Reese and Joshua, that whole situation they got going on down there.
What do you make of him fighting?
Don't call me up. I'll go in and fight somebody for 38 seconds.
Shoot. Now he has the same team as Pacquiao.
Yes.
What do you think? I mean, I think that's going to be more likely to happen. I know Floyd is upset about it, but I understand how much easier it is for Pac to make that fight with. It's easy if you want to make a fight with Floyd Mayweather. That like at this level, it's going to be easy too. But I just think with Conor, it's a lot smoother.
Well, my buddy Sean Gibbons, who is the manager and consultant for most of the Filipino fighters. And the, I believe CEO, if I'm not mistaken, of Mayweather Promotions, Manny Pacquiao Promotions, he already put the gloves of Conor and Manny on post right after the fight was over. I mean, that's the next step. And I know that if you have that fight after the vaccine gets out and you're able to put in 40 or 50,000 outside of the stadium, they're gonna sell 40 or 50,000 tickets, easy.
Like in 4 minutes, they're gonna
like
sell that.
And so I mean, I think that's the next move. I think even Conor's manager was quoted as saying, "We think he's gonna kind of push over to the boxing side. He realizes that he doesn't have to take as much pounding, and now they got memes on him now. You don't want that."
He's not going to get a championship shot anytime soon. Like, so you want to go through those young killers in the division at 155? Work your way back up, and hey, Dustin got something for you if you do get there.
Somebody told me that after the Floyd fight, he's never been the same. And I don't. And they mentioned the punching, and it was not the punching. It is the fact that you're given a check for a certain amount, and I think that you start to live your life. You start making money outside of the sport, and you just get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm making a lot of money. Maybe I'm not as hungry as I was when I was on my food stamps. I'm older now. Who knows what happens.
What do you think about that, Ralph? Because most boxers end up in the sport because they had to fight outside of the gym, and the gym became a safe place for them, and they learned to hone their skills in there. But after a while, you start to realize taking damage on your body is a real thing. And the smart ones understand that you don't have to keep proving to somebody that you can do that, especially when you get to a level like Conor McGregor. Listen, this guy is probably worth about $500 million right now.
Yeah, you know that Thomas Delorme, who is not a $10 million fighter, is calling me and
He want to fight you?
Well, no, he wanted to do some real estate deals because he realizes that it's coming down the hill. Like they're rounding third, getting ready to slide into home and call it a day. These fighters, and CC, I'm a big proponent of these guys getting paid outside of the ring. They don't take advantage enough. They've been lied to pretty much their life. And I'm not calling any promoter out or any manager. Please don't misconstrue that. It's just that so many outside individuals that these promoters and managers don't even realize that are trying to hang around and leech onto these guys. Hey, I got this idea. Let's open this wing stop. Blah, 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 blah. Give me $1 million here. Blah, blah, blah. What? Yeah. And sometimes these guys fall for it, and they end up becoming super broke and having to fight until they're 38 or 39 and getting all these losses. Conor doesn't do that anymore, right? He's got so many things. So if he's going to say, okay, I'm going to fight again, maybe make 500,000 because I'm not even a top 10 anymore, and risk getting hurt again by one of these young studs, or I can go fight Manny Pacquiao, who's older than I am, and I can make probably $30-40 million. I mean, there's a no-brain situation.
Watch y'all's chickens. Watch y'all's chickens. So
yes.
Yeah. So with that, listen, it's been a great show. We've had some really good back-to-back. Oh, one thing I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
So yesterday, Clarissa, we talked to her about kind of what's next in women's boxing. She's fighting on the all-female card. First time.
I missed that. I'm sad I missed that show. I should
catch playback. Catch playback. It's the first time it's happened since 2001 for a woman to actually headline a card. But I asked her, what's next for women's boxing? And she talked about possibility of there being an all women's fight network or even a channel. She's going to be on Fight TV. There's opportunity for Roku. What do you make of maybe the appetite for something like that?
If I say the way I really feel about it, I'll probably get shit thrown at me.
What needs to happen? What are the steps that
we need to have someone like China from the WWE come in and get these males' attention? The problem is that they haven't been promoted for a long time. These girls are fighting. When I did Amanda Serrano's, I believe it was it was 8 divisions at that time. She was that bout would have been tied her with Oscar De La Hoya and Manny Pacquiao for the most titles in divisions in the history of boxing. Mm-hmm. It was in her hometown, and there was probably like 4,000 people there because the pay-per-view was barely getting started, and that was the last fight. We had her on Showtime. It was a wonderful fight, and I felt really bad because Amanda Serrano and the GOAT Shields and everybody else, they deserve better. They really do. I actually enjoy watching them fight. Like my friend Sulem Urbina, she's fantastic. She's beautiful. These women work just as hard, if not even harder, to earn their place. And I really hope that if they do end up with an all-women's network, they're going to get a major sponsor behind it. I'm not talking like they need like a Coke, a Pepsi, a Nike, Under Armour. Somebody will get smart and say, okay, we can branch out and develop this thing into a huge, like women's soccer. Women's soccer was dead until they made that run of the World Cup. Now women's soccer is more popular than the men's soccer in this country.
Yeah.
So there's a way to do it. It's just got to be done correctly. It's got to be marketed correctly. You got to put product placement behind these women, which is not done enough. And
They have to be able to tell the story.
yes, like you got to be able to sit here with your honey bunches of oats as a 6-year-old girl. Be like, mommy, who's that? Oh, that's Clarissa Shields on the Wheaties box, whatever. That doesn't happen right now. Back in the day when Ali and all these fighters, there was product placement everywhere. Now you had to do that because you had no social media, you had no cell phones, no IG. How else were you going to see these guys? You put them on product. And I think you got to go old school, and you have to do that with the women. I would like to see it. They deserve it. They're severely underpaid. They work just as hard. My friend Layla McCarter should be a multi-gajillionaire right now.
Yeah.
She won so many titles. Not only the big sanctioning bodies, but the GDB, ABC, WBG, whatever. She had to go all the way to Germany to fight because nobody wanted to fight her here because there was no fights. I mean, that shit just should not be happening. So
It's quite ridiculous, but I look at what UFC has done with Amanda Nunes, right? Amanda, first of all, is Brazilian born. Her English is getting better, but it's not her first language. She's not what you would say traditionally beautiful. And she is married to her partner, who is a woman. So she's not in the box at all
right.
in terms
Right.
of how you would think that you would have to market a female fighter. But what does she do? She just wins.
She just went. That's my mother's favorite. My mother loves that lady. My mother's like, okay, Amanda's fighting. We ain't do nothing. Don't call me. Don't do nothing. My mom's a big fan. She's a big fan of the UFC and of Amanda. And again, you know, it's got to be seen, though. There's a platform for her to be able to kick ass, right? And that's why Clarissa wins the PFL. She's going to have ESPN behind her. ESPN, you know damn well, just like they do with your North Carolina Tar Heels and the Duke, all these teams that they want front and center. Like, you know, ESPN just made Luka Doncic the greatest basketball player to live for the last 2 months, and ESPN can do that. So I think ESPN.
I want to see her during March Madness. You know, I want to see her during kind of like their other premier sports, just like they did how Fox and ESPN did with Deontay and Tyson Fury. Yeah,
and I think you're going to see it. I think they're going to get smart and realize they're missing out on so many dollars from the young females who are buying other things, Fashion Nova and all this other stuff. They could be buying Clarissa Shields' boxing line or hoodie line or whatever. I mean, she's still. I'm surprised. You know, Clarissa, call me up, girl. We'll make it work because she should be having her whole line of shit right now. Shoes. She should already have this stuff. She should
be making smoothies. She could have a whole smoothie line.
I'm just saying it's not done right now. It needs to be done, and when that's done, and when it's pushed. And when ESPN decides to put those marketing dollars and put her on SportsCenter and do all these things that they used to do to everybody else, that's when you're going to see the big jump. And Clarissa Shields is going to be one of the most well-known, richest females in the next 5 to 10 years. Mark my word, because of what she just did and the platform that she just jumped on. It's going to happen, and I hope it does because she deserves it.
I mean, she's earned it, man.
Whooping some ass too. That girl can. Man,
she can throw. It's a whole different thing when Clarissa gets in there. It's not these wild swooping slappy punches. She can box.
Yeah.
So with that, hey y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you joined late, go ahead and catch the replay. We had Raeese Aleem on earlier, and then we also had Jaron Boots Ennis. Those are fighters you're going to be hearing more from in 2021, and you're going to hear more from us come next week. So
I just, before you hang up, CC, I want to interrupt you like I've been doing pretty much all day, and I'm sorry.
That's what we do.
I want to thank you for looking out for me. I want to thank everybody for reaching out, sending me text messages every day, emails. I'm barred from Facebook again because I told somebody I'm banned from 30 days, so I've not been able to answer back to some. I had a lot of people reaching out to me, hoping that I got better and wishing well wishes for me. And I really appreciate you, CC, for keeping an eye on me, asking if I needed anything. You know, I should have hit you up on a DoorDash.
I did. I was like, hey, can I know on DoorDash?
I should have. Like, damn, I really could go for some Wingstop lemon pepper right now. We'll say it for another day, but I want to thank you. I love you very much. I appreciate you. I'm so glad that I'm back. I'm so glad that I'm healthy enough to be able to do a normal life situation. I'll be with you. I missed you. And we're going to have a big year, CC. We're going to have a big 2021, Big shouts out to Mike, to Jeremy, everybody that's on this platform. We're about to blow it up, and it's only going to get better. So thank you.
Let's do that. So I'm Cassandra Cousineau, your girl, the Sportsnista, signing off for Ramblin' Ralph Velez. Jeremy Long and I will see you next week as well.
Yeah.
Have a good freaking day.